What's a copyright claim? And why did my video get one? What can I do about it? If you find yourself asking any of these questions, well, you are in luck. Look no further because I have plenty of experience with copyright claims and I'm here to clear things up a little bit for you. When you post a video to YouTube and it's being uploaded, YouTube goes through a process known as Content ID that scans your video and compares your video to a database of files that have been submitted to them by random content owners. To make it just a little bit easier to understand, YouTube has a pool of copyrighted content such as clips from shows, movies, music, and even sounds that are owned by a specific person or a company. When you upload a video, YouTube can detect if your video contains any of this copyrighted content that you don't actually own. So what if YouTube does detect any of this copyrighted content in your video, and what happens to your video when it does detect it? Many things can happen. Most commonly, the copyright holder will get any revenue that's made off of your video. Even if you aren't monetized, the copyright holder can run ads on your video, which they will collect the revenue from. The worst part though, especially if you're a newer creator like me, the copyright holder can restrict your video from being viewed in certain countries, and worst of all, they can even block your video from being viewed in all countries. So you might be thinking, why would my video get one of these claims? There's a few reasons actually. Specifically, if you're one of those channels that just re-uploads somebody else's content that you didn't actually make, for example, if you download episodes of a TV show and upload them to YouTube, or even portions of movies, or even just songs or albums. Even if you just use small clips from a movie or a TV show, your video, odds are, will probably get copyright claimed. And you might be wondering, is there any benefit to this system? Well, yeah, there definitely is. Specifically, if you're a content creator on YouTube and someone else downloads one of your videos and re-uploads it without making any changes to the original video itself, then you can actually copyright claim that video because you are the copyright holder for your own content. Also, it's beneficial for companies that have their content re-uploaded onto YouTube as well. You see, a lot of time, effort, and money goes into creating shows, movies, animations, music, and so on. When a show gets aired on TV or a movie plays in theaters, the people that were behind producing that movie or show get compensated for their hard work. But when someone uploads their content onto YouTube for the public to see, that company doesn't see any money from that work, which is where copyright claims come into play. The copyright owner can have that video restricted, taken down, or they can opt in to keep the video up as long as they get the revenue from the ads. Next, I'd like to talk about fair use. What is fair use? If your video falls under fair use, then you're in luck because most copyright claims can easily be removed in that case. Fair use is the doctrine of law in the United States that small excerpts of copyright material may, under certain circumstances, be used for criticism, news reporting, teaching, and research without the need for permission from or payment to the copyright holder. Long story short, you can use some copyrighted materials if you're changing the original content that you're using, providing commentary or a voiceover over that content, and that your video isn't a substitute for the original content itself. What do I mean by substitute? For example, if you're uploading a video about one of your favorite TV shows, it's important to make sure that someone wouldn't be able to just watch your video instead of watching the actual show itself. So how do I know if my video has a copyright claim or not? I will show you right now. On screen now, you are looking at my videos that I have uploaded. In the middle of the screen, you'll see a column titled Visibility. Each video has a green eye that says Public, meaning that my video is able to be seen in all countries. If you have a copyright claim, that eye will actually turn yellow and it'll say Restricted and Copyright Claim right underneath that. If you click on it, it'll explain that your video is restricted in certain countries due to copyright. It'll also tell you what percentage of your audience won't be able to see that video. And in the worst case scenario, the eye will be red and say Restricted, which means your video isn't viewable in any countries due to the copyright claim. And now you might be thinking, what can I do about it? Do you have any tips to help me? I certainly do. If you're confident that your video falls under fair use, then you can dispute that claim. Bear in mind though, that if you're just re-uploading someone else's content, TV show, movie, music, anything like that, this method will not work. But if you've significantly changed the original content and provided commentary over that content, then this method should work just fine for you. First, when you're in YouTube Studio looking at your list of videos, right next to your claimed video, you want to click the Select Action button on the far right. It's going to provide a drop-down menu where you will select Dispute at the bottom. Next, it'll bring you to a page that shows you some invalid reasons for copyright disputes. Provided you're pursuing fair use, you want to click the box underneath stating that your dispute isn't based on any of those reasons above. Next, you'll see a page where you get to select which kind of dispute you want to submit. In our case, we're submitting it based on fair use, so select fair use and then click continue. Next, you'll see a screen that gives you a little more context and understanding of fair use. If you're still confident that your video falls under fair use, click the box stating that you're protected by fair use and click continue. Last, you'll need to provide rationale. Basically, you need to explain why your video falls under fair use. Now, what I did was I found a legal breakdown of the Copyright Act from 1976, and I kind of changed it a little bit to put it in my own words. I'll put it on screen now so you can see it, and I'll also include it in the description down below so that you can copy and paste it if you ever need it yourself. I totally don't mind you using it. What I normally do is copy and paste that legal disclaimer into the box, then just to drive my point home, I'll add a sentence or two underneath it explaining that I have edited the clips that I used, I also provided commentary, and that my video does not act as a substitute for the original content. Usually that'll do the trick, but there are some cases when your claim will get denied, and usually that results in your video getting blocked in all countries. When this happens, it's usually done by a bot within minutes of you submitting that claim. If you are 100% sure that your video falls under fair use, then just submit another claim. When you submit your second claim, that will, I think at least, go to a real person. It may take hours or even days, but when the video is finally reviewed, it'll usually result in your dispute being resolved. This happened to me with my video about the top 5 most iconic episodes of Rugrats. After submitting my dispute, I was immediately denied and blocked in all countries, but after submitting another dispute and waiting right about 12 hours, the dispute was resolved and my claim was removed and my video is now public. Anyways, that's just kind of a quick overview of copyright claims, how that system works, and what you can do to help yourself if you ever get caught in the bind of a fair use copyright dispute. If this video helped you at all, make sure you click that like button to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you like my content, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!